Hello, hello! Can you hear me? Hello, hello! Welcome to tonight's stream. Welcome. Today we are continuing Heisei babtro. Today is episode 13 of Heisei babtro. I can't believe we are still able to keep this going. I am so grateful to be able to keep doing this podcast and sharing this passion of mine with you all. It's been so much fun. Today is a very special episode. Oh, but before we get into that, I feel like I always forget how to do my own intro. I literally scripted an intro, and every time I do one of these, I'm like, hi. Hello, I'm new here. It's episode 13 and I'm still new here. Anywho, welcome to Heisei babtro, my podcast where we yap about our favorite media from Japan's Heisei era. The Heisei era spanned from 1989 to 2019, which is, honestly, a super wide range of time. But in regards to pop culture, can be characterized best by rapid technological advancements, the rising popularity of anime and Japanese video games both in Japan and overseas, and what many consider to be the golden age of places like Akihabara and Harajuku. But for today's episode, I'm going to be joined by our very own Asbury Street to yap all about Legend of Zelda. Oh my gosh, let's see. I'm gonna undeafen Discord. Hello, are you ready?
Hello, I am ready.
Hello! Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, chat. I am Ash. Ashbury Street, but my name is just Ash. I don't really have anything to promote. I'm just a viewer. I'm a viewer who's lucky enough to be up here because I'm a nerd about Zelda. So, 5 months ago, I was up past midnight. I was binge watching Family Feud clips, and YouTube randomly recommended me this totally unrelated video of this VTuber named weebab.exe playing Super Mario 64. And I was like, I've never watched a VTuber before, but this looks fun. And so I clicked on it, and now here I am. So that's pretty cool.
I love that. Also, hello Felix, welcome in. Alright, well I am so excited to have you on the podcast today. So as we both mentioned, today's topic is going to be Legend of Zelda, which has always been a part of my childhood. Like, I grew up on like the 64 Zelda games, but I feel like I'm not super knowledgeable of the franchise. Like, I never like got super into it. So I am really excited to hear from you, someone who's a bigger Zelda fan than I am.
Oh yeah, I definitely have. I mean, I have like 3 pages of notes just to make sure I hit on certain things that I want to say. So, I will say that I am not an expert, nor have I played all of the games, but it's definitely something I'm passionate about. As I'm sure we will get to, one game in particular, Wind Waker, is by far my favorite game of all time. So, I definitely am a big Zelda fan. So, yeah.
Yeah, so how we usually start these out, imagine for a moment you're talking to a person who has never heard of Legend of Zelda. How would you introduce the franchise to someone brand new? How would you describe it?
Well, it is... I don't know why I didn't anticipate this question. Well, it's adventure games, of course. It's adventure games, characterized, a big part of it is puzzles. Every of has puzzles of varying difficulty. But you play in all of them, well, not all of them now, because you play as Zelda herself in Echoes of Wisdom, but in most of them, you play as Link, who is not the same person every time. That's a thing a lot of people believe, but we have various incarnations of Link, who are some of them are completely unrelated to the others, but you usually play as Link, who's this funny little guy in his green hat. And you adventure through various worlds, usually Hyrule, but there are other places too. My favorite one, Wind Waker, does not. Well, it takes place over Hyrule. It's complicated. I could talk about the lore of that game later if we want, but basically, I'm getting into details. The whole point is that it's a series of adventure games. You have a sword, there are enemies, there are lots of puzzles to solve, and a lot of them feature music. There are often musical elements. You get like a pan flute in Spirit Tracks. You get, of course, the titular Ocarina of Time. You conduct music in Wind Waker. So if you like music and puzzles, those are two things that are pretty much always in the games. So there's that. Adventure games with music and puzzles. There we go. That's a good way of putting it.
No, we can definitely get into it more later, but I think the music element was always one of my favorite parts of the Legend of Zelda games. Like, I still have certain songs from, like, Ocarina of Time just, like, lodged in my brain that will never leave. Like, I still, like, well, I haven't touched that game in years, and I will still, like, catch myself humming one of the songs from that game.
Oh, yeah,
so, like, the musical element is
all the time.
Such a great part of the franchise.
It really is. The music is so good, actually, that there have been like a couple of concert tours of music from both music from the franchise, and in one case, original music, like an original concert tour of music just based on the existing soundtracks. So,
oh wow,
yeah, the music is definitely a huge part of it. Yeah, so. Well, I kind of have some stuff I thought might be good to start with. If
I would love to hear what you took notes on. I'm very curious.
Yeah, so the main thing, well, this is, I kind of wanted to start. Please also like cut me off if I start going too much.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I kind of wanted to start by talking about, I guess, you know, I'm trying really hard not to use. I've been in college for 7 years, and my brain wants to use all of these big academic terms to describe how I'm approaching this, and I'm trying not to do that. Basically, I just want to talk a little about the history of the games, and also talk about specifically how The Legend of Zelda is a Heisei era property.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So not counting the re-releases and the HD remakes, there are several of those. There are 20 mainline canon games, which, you know, it's kind of complicated. The timeline, it's a whole thing. But there are 20 mainline games. There are 16 games that are considered spin-offs, although some of those are also canon. It's complicated. I'm not going to get into all that. You can read the Hyrule Historia, which was the book that like kind of tried to create a unified timeline. But so then, of course, there are like other games, but that don't really count, like, you know, just Link appearing in other games like Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 8. Of those, you know, 36 games that are like definitely Zelda games, 29 of them are from the Heisei era. So the first two, which are the original games for the NES and the Famicom, I hope I said that right. So the original Legend of Zelda, and then Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, those both came out at the tail end of the Showa era. So 1986 and 1987, they came out just 1 year apart. And then, of course, the more recent games like Tears of the Kingdom, Echoes of Wisdom, those are products of the Reiwa era that we are now in. So basically what I'm getting at and what I wanted to go over here is this is a franchise that did not originate in the Heisei era. It started a little bit earlier, and so people might be going, "Hey, this isn't Showa babtro. This is Heisei babtro." So I think basically I wanted to kind of present why I think Zelda is a Heisei era property at its heart.
Yeah.
Which is kind of two main reasons. The main one is just that I think it was kind of a precursor of the cultural phenomena of the Heisei era, and then also I just think that it hit its stride in the Heisei era.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so um, so you, as you always mention in your intro, a big part of the Heisei era was the rising popularity of Japanese media overseas,
Yes, yes.
especially in the U.S. I think the first Zelda game in particular was kind of like a harbinger for that. It was like it foreshadowed how much of a thing that was going to become. So the first Legend of Zelda, it was the first NES game to sell over 1 million copies in the US, and it achieved that number in a little over 4 months. It released near the end of August. It had surpassed 1 million copies before the end of the year, so it was selling on average about 8,000 copies a day,
Oh
um,
man.
which is huge, yeah. Um, this was, of course, before we had stuff like Nintendo Power. It was before we had other. There were several kind of Japanese media in America magazines and stuff that came later. Like I had looked at a few, and now I can't remember what any of them were called. But this is before Nintendo Power. This is before, I think, Otaku USA was one of them that I read about.
I think so,
Um,
yeah.
but there was an American magazine called Computer Gaming World, and Computer Gaming World called The Legend of Zelda the best adventure game of the year. And when that review came out, that caused a noticeable boom in sales of the NES console. So it wasn't the overall best-selling NES game. That is the first Super Mario Bros. Although
Hmm.
I think that number's a little inflated because unlike The Legend of Zelda, the first Mario Bros. Game was bundled with the
Oh
console.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you didn't have
Bundles
people
barely
seeking
count
out the
when you're
game.
considering
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, with The Legend of Zelda, people were actively seeking out the game itself. And so I think that that counts for a little bit more.
Hmm. I
But yeah,
agree.
um, it was not necessarily like the single most popular piece of Japanese media in America at the time, but it was extremely popular. It, like I said, was the first Japanese game, or at least the first NES game to do that well. And I think that kind of represents like a watershed moment for the popularity of Japanese media in America. It was so my point I guess I'm making is that the Zelda franchise was a sign of what was to come. And that's one reason why I think we can talk about it on this Heisei era podcast,
Yeah.
because it very much represented kind of the movement towards what was happening. Like it was just like 2 years before the Heisei era officially began, but it was kind of a sign of already Japanese media was becoming increasingly popular, and this was kind of one of the first big booms where it received wide acknowledgement from American sources. It was, kind of respected as its own thing, and it was popular on its own, like, standing, I guess. Um, and I mean, and that was like, that was before, of course, like I said, that was before like Nintendo Power and these other things that were specifically tailored to like bring Japanese media to an American audience, all these magazines and stuff. And it was also before the internet, like the 90s and
Hmm.
2000s brought about all these new ways for people to bond over their love of Japanese media. I was looking at some old GeoCities
Oh my
anime fan
gosh.
pages,
Oh, I
and
love that.
those they were so fun. I think I was talking to Simply about just like how
Hmm.
much of a purity there is in those old websites. People just making these cute little custom HTML coded fan websites. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about here. My point was just that this was before all of that, and it still managed to achieve this popularity. So it was definitely kind of a sign of what was to come. And then also the other thing, which I'll get through this quickly. I don't want to just
Hmm.
dominate the conversation, but
You're good, you're good.
the franchise, I think, really hit its stride with A Link to the Past in 1991. So the first game was, of course, as I already said, extremely popular. Um, but then there was a slump a little bit with the second game. The second game is generally still considered one of the weakest games in the franchise for various reasons. Um, like the gameplay was substantially different in a way that I don't think. I think the changes that were made in Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link were not things that were ever used again. Like, it had a really poorly designed experience points system, which since then in uh I can't do math in my head, like however many decades it's been since then. No other Zelda game except for one spin-off that was not developed by Nintendo has used an XP system. So that's how poor it was the one time they tried it. Um, the point being, Zelda 2 was not super well received. It was also not even originally a Zelda game, actually. They were making a different game, and then we're like, hey, Legend of Zelda was popular. Let's turn this into another Zelda game.
It's weird how
Miyamoto
common
himself
that is.
actually. Yeah, it really is. Miyamoto himself actually, once he was asked in an interview in 2013 if he thought he'd ever made a bad game, and he said that he didn't really feel like he'd ever made a bad game, but he did specifically call out Zelda 2 as one of his weakest.
Man.
Um, and yeah, so, and then also the first one, for all that it was super popular, had some issues. The overworld map in the first game is useless. It's basically just like a gray square with a little green dot that tells you where Link is, but doesn't show you like anything else. So
My
people will
gosh.
tell, like, if you decide to play it, people will tell you, like, draw your own map of the overworld and have it on hand before you start playing. Um, anyway, so the first one was great. Second one, not so great. But then A Link to the Past is still widely considered one of the best games in the whole franchise. There are a lot of people who will call it the best game of all time. If you are, I don't know, if you are in a group, if you are in the Legend of Zelda subreddit or something, and you say, I think A Link to the Past is the best game, like, people might not necessarily agree, but that's not an opinion anyone's going to get mad at you for. So A Link to the Past is really, really good. And that was 1991. And so that was, of course, we had hit the Heisei era by that point, and that was when the franchise really started to skyrocket in popularity. I made a list here of other Zelda media that came out in the Heisei era. So
Ooh, yeah.
in addition to the 26 games that released in the Heisei era, we also had an animated show from DIC, the same people who
Oh
made
yeah. Oh my
the
god.
Sonic show.
The iconic. The iconic cartoon.
Yes, the iconic Zelda cartoon. It's so good, and the
It's so good.
all their cartoons were iconic. They really were. So we had the animated show. We had 11 game books, 2 comic books, 17 manga, 4 novelizations, a 12-episode miniseries on the 3DS Nintendo Video Service. We had those concert tours that I mentioned before. There was an orchestral symphony that was conducted in Germany as it was called
Wow.
a symphonic poem. So it was like an orchestral performance with a narrative that was essentially, there were 2 of these, and the first one was to video games and generally Nintendo games in general, and then the second one was just for Zelda. So that happened, and
That's
then
so
3 board
cool.
games.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then 3 board games as well, along with, of course, there's countless merch. There's more merch than I could possibly list here. We'd be here for 5 hours. But all of that just to say, I'm now wrapping up these opening thoughts that I wanted to go over. But all that just to say, the franchise did not strictly originate in the Heisei era, but I think it foreshadowed the cultural phenomena of the Heisei era, and then absolutely the Heisei era was Zelda's heyday, which isn't to say that the franchise is any less popular now, but it was absolutely when it skyrocketed to become supremely popular.
Yeah. It's really cool to think about, though, that Legend of Zelda in the early days was able to do so well overseas. I'm curious what your opinion is on it, what you think made it so appealing to foreign players.
Oh, that is a really good question. I mean, part of it might be that, I mean, I'm trying to think of different ways to do this. One thing came to mind that probably isn't the answer, but is kind of funny, which is that in the first 2 games, Hyrule is like implied to be a Christian nation, which
Oh
is
my gosh.
interesting. Yeah, there's official art of Link praying to a crucifix, which is really kind of funny.
Really?
Um,
I don't think I've seen that
yeah,
before. Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's interesting. That's probably not why, but sorry,
Hmm.
that popped into my head. Um, I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I have not played the first game
Hmm.
because you would need I would need all kinds of emulators and things that I'm not smart enough to set up. But probably just it was a really good, straightforward adventure game. Like I think it just got a lot of things right that that, like there's a ton of mechanics that are, they do new twists on them. They have hardware updates that make them better, things like that. But a lot of the mechanics established in the first game have been essentially unchanged in a lot of the following games. So I think part of it might just be that they landed on a formula that worked really, really well. And then they stuck to it. And the time when they didn't, then in Zelda
Yeah.
2, they tried to not stick to it and it didn't work out. So um, I think it might be as simple as that. They put together a system that worked really well. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a more. I'd love to have played
Yeah.
the game myself, and then I would probably have a more complex answer. But I think they got it right. Basically, it was still early on, and they hit on the adventure game formula in its perfect form.
Yeah, I played only a teeny tiny bit. I think I mentioned it in a past stream that when me and my siblings were kids, we had Super Smash Bros. For the Wii, and Super Smash Bros. Brawl had this section where you could play like very, very short demo versions of a bunch of games that the characters in Smash came from. And one of those was
Oh,
the
that's
original
so
Zelda,
cool.
so like it was like you can play for exactly 20 minutes and then the game will end. So I got to like do a tiny bit of the original Legend of Zelda. It's a cool game. It's
I,
it's
I
an
had no
NES
idea that was a
game,
thing.
so yeah. So that's how I played like a bunch of random games. Like I've played a little bit of Metroid, played a little bit of Star Fox,
That's awesome.
exclusively
I
in
had no
the Smash Bros. Wii
idea.
emulated versions.
That's really cool. I feel like I need
Hmm.
to. I think I have a friend who has Brawl. I need to go be like, hey, can I play Zelda through your Brawl?
Let's
Um,
go.
Sorry, my chair's
Yeah.
creaking.
If
Oh,
you want to
there we go.
move on to a little bit more personal topics too, I would love to know how did you become a fan of Legend of Zelda? What was your gateway? What made you as passionate as you are now? Also, hello,
Yeah,
welcome to
well,
stream, welcome in.
it's kind of funny. Even though I volunteered to talk about this, and I am passionate about the
Mm-hmm.
franchise, I actually didn't play any Zelda games when I was a kid.
Hmm.
I mostly I just played Super Mario 64 over and over.
So valid.
Um, which is it's really funny to me that I found you through a completely random Super Mario 64 VOD, because
Hmm.
as far as I am aware, you have not played Super Mario 64 before or since. You streamed
Yeah,
it
I
one
only did
time,
that one stream. I
and they
could
just
probably go
happened to
back to it at
recommend me
some
that.
point, but yeah,
I'm
that's so
biased, but you
funny.
totally should. But it was just they just happened to recommend me the VOD where you're playing like my favorite game. Not my favorite game, one of my favorites. Um, but yeah, I didn't play Zelda. I mostly just replayed Mario 64 all the time. I also played a lot of licensed games.
Hmm.
There were a lot of Nintendo licensed games that I played, or not Nintendo. Well, they were Nintendo, but Nickelodeon licensed games that I
Ah.
played. Like the first SpongeBob movie had a really good game on the GameCube. So did the Barnyard movie had a really good
Hmm.
game. I'm getting off
Oh my
topic.
gosh.
Anyway, point was that I actually did not play Zelda as a kid, mostly because I generally had a really limited selection of
Hmm.
games, and my parents always picked out Mario because they were like, this is definitely family friendly. They were always strict about that. Like I wasn't allowed to
Hmm.
watch Adventure Time because they thought it
Oh my
wasn't
gosh.
safe for kids or something. But Anyway, my first experience with the Zelda franchise, and for a long time my only experience, was when I was about 12 years old. I watched Peanut Butter Gamers videos about the CDI
Oh
games.
my gosh, you also watched Peanut Butter Gamer. Let's go.
Yeah, my introduction to the Zelda franchise was PBG's video on the Legend of Zelda CDI
Oh my
games.
gosh, I love that.
Which great videos. Shout out PBG. But I watched those when I was like 12 and then I just kept rewatching them for years. Finally, I was actually introduced to Zelda when I was 16 years old.
Mhm.
My boyfriend Ray introduced me to the Wind Waker, which is the ninth main or 10th actually mainline game in the franchise, and is also Ray's favorite game. So he just infected me with his disease. Um, basically, Ray's a huge Zelda fan, and he converted me into one. Basically, shout out Ray as well. I guess I'm
Let's
sure you're not
go.
listening, but um, yeah, he introduced me to Wind Waker. I think like the first time I ever went to his house, he basically sat me down in front of his Wii U and was like, "You're gonna play the Wind Waker HD remake, and this will decide if we can date or not."
Oh my
Um,
gosh, it was serious.
and but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Um, and that was my tipping point. And so it became pretty much I played Zelda games whenever I was there. He loaned me copies of the DS games because the DS was like the only console I had at home.
Mm.
And so I was able to play like Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass and those. And he also loaned me his copy of the Four Swords manga, which I read,
Oh.
um, and various other things. So everything I know about Zelda, I learned. Well, not everything, but my passion for Zelda, I owe to him. He also installed GameCube emulators on my computer for me to be able to play some of the games that I didn't have the console to play. Although at some point I deleted those, and now I cannot remember how to
Oh
reinstall
no.
them. So, oh well.
Oh well.
But that was that's the short. Well, short. I'm very verbose, but that's the short-ish version of how I got into Zelda. Was just essentially through my boyfriend who loved Zelda and made me love it too. And because I am a nerd, I became knowledgeable about a lot of the like history of the franchise, which he's just a fan of the games and of the lore, and I'm more of like I love knowing about the background. I love doing things like reading that Miyamoto interview and hearing him talk about the hardware issues that made Zelda 2 not as good as it could have been and that kind of thing. So I guess I'm more of a
No,
background person
that
in
is
that
so
case.
valid. I was actually very similar back when we were kids. My siblings, technically they weren't mine. They were specifically my brother's. He was getting the Nintendo Power magazines every month, and I would read them obsessively. And like I knew so many random stuff. Like I knew so much about. I used to. I don't know much anymore. That I forgot most of it. But I used to know so much about Metroid, and I've never touched a Metroid game. I knew
Neither
so
have
much
I.
random facts about Metroid, despite never touching a game. And I just loved learning new things about different video games. I was like, wow. Did you know that Samus was a girl? That's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely know more. I've probably spent more time just reading about like the history of the franchise than I have
Mm.
actually playing. Maybe that's not true because I've 100%ed Wind Waker like at least 3 times. But I have not played all of the games. I have played um Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks. I played some of Breath of the Wild. I didn't get a chance to finish it. And then I've played like a few minutes of a few other games. I definitely played some of Twilight Princess at one point. It basically just games that I at some point owned. I have
Mm-hmm.
like 100%ed them at least once. And then games that I did not own myself, I have played when I got the chance, but have not like finished them. I played some of Majora's
Mm.
Mask as well. Um, but yeah, But yeah, Wind Waker though, Wind Waker, oh my goodness. The baseline game, like I said, I've 100%ed it 3 times. I have played through the full HD remake a few times, and I've played modded versions as well. The Chaos mod is really annoying, but also really funny. And the randomizer version is actually really, really fun, which I also learned of that through PVG. So shout out again.
Oh yeah.
He played the randomizer mod, and I was like, that looks fun. Ray, I don't know how to download this. And Ray was like, yes, I'll download it for you.
Let's go.
It was really fun. So Wind Waker I have played a ton, and then I have done full playthroughs of some others, and yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah. Why is Wind Waker your favorite? I would love to hear just, your personal thoughts and feelings on that game. Like, what makes that, out of all the other games you've played, why is that one the one that always sticks in your mind as your favorite?
Oh, there's so many reasons. A big one, I think, is the music. Like we were saying, every game has good music. It's a staple of the franchise, but the Wind Waker music just sticks in my head above any other that I've played. Like Spirit Tracks has good music as well. It's got like a really good soundtrack, and it's got you play a little pan flute in that game, and it's got good music. It's got musical mechanics that are fun, but I can't think of any of those songs. Like, I can't hear them in my head. Wind Waker, I think, in my opinion, has the catchiest music, because even though I've played Spirit Tracks for hours and hours, the songs don't remain in my head, versus I could like hum any song from Wind Waker like right now. I'm not going to, because I don't think my mic would pick it up. But the music is so good. There are some songs that if anyone ever clicks on my YouTube channel, if they see me commenting on your VODs and stuff, you'll see a couple of Wind Waker songs that I uploaded myself because I couldn't find anyone had like uploaded them, and I wanted to be able to listen to them.
So valid.
So the music is great. I love the art style. The art style was really controversial when it came out, actually. I don't know if you know about this.
I don't know much about the controversy, but I know it's just a very distinctly different art style than the games that came before.
Yeah, it's definitely very different, and at the time people didn't like it just because I think, I don't want to say that it was as simple as just people don't like change. That's definitely part of it. But also I think the preceding game, which, oh no, I can't remember which, Ocarina of Time. There we go. I think, oh no, Ray's gonna kill me for not remembering the exact order. I remember that Wind Waker was the 10th, and I think that it was the 9th Ocarina, I mean. No, Majora's Mask came before.
Majora's Mask.
Right.
Came after Ocarina.
But basically, both of those did have like they were 3D. Ocarina was, I believe, the first 3D Zelda game. And they had graphics that, I mean, they aren't realistic by modern standards, but they had like, characters had like pretty realistic proportions. Some of the textures were, for the hardware that they had available, they were pretty detailed, and that kind of thing. And so I think people just liked that style and expected more of it. And so when they released like the trailer for Wind Waker, and it was this like cell shaded cartoony style, people didn't like it just because it was different. I also think, from what I recall, the animation was like a little unpolished in the first trailer, and it definitely improved in the final game. But anyway, all that just to say, the art style was very controversial when the game first came out, but I personally love it, and also more people love it now. It definitely has become increasingly popular. Like people got over not liking it and were like, this is actually pretty cute.
I think probably nostalgia helped that. Like, maybe at the time it was very jarring, but now enough people have like grown up on those games. It's easier to be more fond of something that you experienced as a kid. I can see that.
true. Yeah. But yeah, I love the art style. It's like it's so engaging, and I like enjoy. I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't sound weird. I enjoy looking at the game, and it makes me want to keep playing. Like there have been other games occasionally where it's like for one reason or another something about the graphics kind of bothers me and it makes me want to not play as much. But I just love how Wind Waker looks. And I like that. I also just I like I like the mechanics of the game a lot. I even like the sailing. People complain a lot about the sailing, that it's like time consuming, that it's boring, having to find your way between all the different islands. I personally find the sailing really nice. I will admit, when I played the HD remake and they had the Swift sail that made you not have to manually change the direction of the wind, I was a big fan of it. But I don't think it's quite as arduous as people make it out to be. I find it kind of peaceful sailing in the game. It's not always peaceful because sometimes you get attacked by giant octoroks, but generally it is, I think, quite nice. And I just really like I like the aesthetic. It's kind of ironic. I'm afraid of the ocean, but I always really enjoy like ocean aesthetics in media.
Yeah.
Like I've heard, I don't know if Zelda would fall into this, but I've heard the term ocean punk before. I don't know exactly if Wind Waker falls into ocean punk or not, but I have always enjoyed media that I know does, like The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, if you ever watched that.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, I that show is definitely ocean punk. You know, the main town is just like on a pier in the middle of the ocean. There's pirate ships, there's all kinds. It's a very maritime show, and I loved that show as a kid, and I love all that kind of thing. So I think that's part of why as well. I just love the aesthetic. Okay, I looked it up because I was like, I want to be sure. And yes, Wind Waker is considered ocean punk, so there we go.
Let's
That's
go.
why I like it.
Yeah, I feel like that was really popular in the 2000s. I think there were a lot of like GameCube games, particularly, that had like either ocean or beach related settings. I mean, I'm thinking like
Yeah,
Super Mario
that's
Sunshine also.
true. I didn't
Sonic
actually
games, I
really think
think, at
about
the
that.
time also had a lot of like water type levels. And that was like a big thing for a while in the 2000s, which I find
Oh man, Mario
interesting.
Sunshine. I'm having like horrific flashbacks to certain Mario Sunshine levels.
Oh man,
Um,
yeah, that game
that
is such a
oh Lord.
vibe, but some of those levels. I was watching Mist play it recently. I was like, oh god, I've decided I will not stream it because I think I won't be able to get through some of it.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. When Mario 3D All Stars came out,
Hmm.
I immediately Mario 64, of course, and then Mario
Of
Galaxy.
course.
I 100%ed the game in all the available save slots. So I 100%ed Mario 64 three
Oh
times
man.
and Galaxy like six times. Um, and then I was like, oh, damn, I really want to be completionist here. So I guess I now have to 100% Mario Sunshine three times.
Oh
I don't want to
gosh.
do that, but I did. I did. I
Oh
100%ed the
man.
entirety of Mario 3D All
Impressive.
Stars.
That's so
And oh my
impressive.
goodness gracious, Mario Sunshine is not fun, but in some parts it is very fun in other parts. But oh my gosh, the lily pad riding down the river, I have nightmares about that. Anyway,
Now I'm getting
yeah,
war
I love.
flashbacks to my Benzo Kazooie streams that I used to do. Those were bites back then loved watching me suffer. I'll say that much. Those streams were just me
Oh,
suffering.
oh no. Yeah, I was about to say something and then I
Oh
completely lost my
no.
train of thought. Anyway, all of that to say, I think the aesthetic is a big part of why I love Wind Waker so much. And then I like the story. The story has a lot of elements that appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really big fan of like mythology and that kind of thing. I'm really big into like I mean I have a degree in like religious studies where we talked about like we talked about mythology, we talked about like cults and stuff like that. And I think the goddesses play a pretty substantial role in the Wind Waker. You know, the goddesses and the sages and all of that does play a big role in all of the Zelda games, but it plays a bigger role in some than others. And I think they play a really substantial role in Wind Waker. I mean, the backstory of the game, spoilers, I guess, if you haven't played this game that came out in like 2003. The backstory of the game is that the Great Sea that you sail on in the world is Hyrule. Hyrule is down under the Great Sea, and the Great Sea was the result of the three goddesses doing a direct divine intervention to flood the whole world in response to Ganondorf being free and the hero of time not showing up to save the world. Basically, it takes place in a divergent timeline from Ocarina of Time, where Link went back in time to, I don't remember why, but basically it meant that the hero of time version of Link was not around when Ganondorf managed to escape from his prison yet again and wreak havoc on the world. So there's this opening cinematic for Wind Waker that kind of gives the background and the lore. And it's so, first of all, the music, oh my god, the music for this opening cutscene, that's the word I was thinking of, I couldn't think of it. This like opening cutscene cinematic thing, the art is also gorgeous. The art is based on, I can't remember the term, but the art is based on this style of like Japanese wood carving art of some kind. I don't remember the term, but I read about that at one point. But anyway, it tells the background of the game, and they talk about the hero of time defeating Ganon, and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, like if you played the Ocarina of Time, you're like, wait, that's me, the hero of time, that was me in the other game. And then they get to Ganon rises again, and there's this really, like, it genuinely gives me goosebumps. No matter how many times I have seen it, like they say, like, the people believed that the hero of time would once again come to save them, but the hero did not appear because in this timeline the hero went back in time and so was gone when Ganon arose again. And so the three goddesses flooded the world, and the Great Sea was left. The islands in Wind Waker are like the tops of the mountains that are now islands.
Oh, wow.
And so, and then you have to like collect these pearls that are like symbols of the goddesses, and you have to earn them by passing trials from like divine guardians and that kind of thing. And then there are the sages who play. You guide the sages through playing music, like the Earth God's lyric is one of the ones that I have uploaded on my little YouTube channel because I love the Earth God's lyric so much. It's so pretty. All of this to say, I'm getting off in the details. All of this to say, I think one reason the game appeals to me so much is because it has that kind of mythological, like it feels like something you could read in like a Greek myth. Where you've got this hero and the gods are actively involved, and the hero has to earn the favor of the gods through these challenges and that kind of thing. It feels very mythological, and that's something that really appeals to me.
Yeah, no, I also love the like mythological, like high fantasy element of the franchise.
Yeah.
There's something so whimsical about like high fantasy, is that like it's really immersive. I like it when a game like makes you feel very immersed in their world.
Me too. Yeah. I love, I don't know why I could not think of the word high or the term high fantasy, considering that like I'm writing high fantasy like as we speak, not literally as we speak, but it's something I guess I could have mentioned that in my intro. I'm a writer, by the way. That's like the main thing that I do with my life, and I just didn't mention that when I was introducing myself. But one of the things I am working on, is a little high fantasy series. So
oh, that's awesome.
Anyhow, that's just to express that yes, that is something that I really like as well. So yeah, I don't know. That's I also just find the combat in Wind Waker really nice. That is, some of the games are like known for having weaker combat than some of the others. I think the combat in Wind Waker is really good. So there's that too.
Yeah. I definitely need to play Wind Waker at some point. So I actually was looking through like Zelda games. I was looking up a list of all the Zelda games, and it made me realize that I don't think I've ever played any of the Toon Link style games.
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't think we ever had them as kids. Like, we had the 64 games, of course. I had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I know we had Skyward Sword, which I also really like.
One of the ones I haven't played, Skyward Sword.
I never got very far in it. My thing as a kid, I never got past like the first, maybe the second, like level or area in a game. So I'm very well versed in like the openings of a lot of like Zelda games, not so much in the later parts. Like yeah, in Skyward Sword, you're in the sky and you have a bird and you fly. And that's what I know, because that's all I did in that game.
Fair enough. I do actually know several people who, with Wind Waker, got to Windfall Island, where they needed to get the sail for the King of Red Lions, and then they just didn't play beyond that because they either couldn't figure out how to get the sail or whatever other reason. I do think when I played it for the first time, Ray had to tell me how to get the sail, so maybe that's one part that's a little imperfect, but yeah, I definitely, I also, yeah, I have some games where I only played the beginning and then just never played the rest, so I get it.
I think it's also like a childhood experience of not knowing how to play a game, so instead you're like, this is my home now, and just like being a Link in Ocarina of Time running around into the like Kokiri village. Like, this is just for, I'm just hanging out. We're just hanging out with our friends, the other characters who live here. I'm just vibing. I don't have a sword, I don't need one.
Very true, very true. Yeah, I don't really remember what I was saying anymore, but
one aspect of Legend of Zelda games that I got really hyperfixated on when I was younger was how, even though I wouldn't necessarily, except maybe with a couple of exceptions, wouldn't necessarily classify them as horror games, they often have really dark, creepy elements integrated into the games.
Oh yes, that is something.
I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well, if you have any.
Something. Yes, no, I do. Wind Waker, actually, for all that it has that cartoony style that was kind of controversial, the Earth God's Temple, or the Earth Temple in particular, that dungeon is scary. It's got like really creepy ambiance, and then it's got the re-dead. The re-deads in that game are actually like quite frightening. Like, my first few playthroughs of that game, when I would get to a chamber with re-deads, I would get like actively anxious and be like, I gotta get out of here. Like, they make this horrible screeching sound, and if they catch you, they will literally start chomping on Link's head.
Oh gosh.
Like zombies eating your brain. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the Earth Temple in that game in particular is like actually scary. Although then the final boss of the Earth Temple is not scary at all. It's this like fat jolly ghost guy.
Oh my gosh.
What is his name? Oh no, I'm a fake fan. I can't remember the boss's name. But yeah, he's a big like chubby ghost with a big lantern. And so it's like, I was expecting like a big scary skeleton or something, but honestly, the Dragon Roost Island boss is scarier than the Earth Temple boss. But anyhow, yes, definitely there are horror elements. Also, the first time you go to the Forbidden Fortress in that one is actually like pretty scary. It's not as like actively feeling like you're in a horror movie as the Earth Temple is, but it is still pretty freaky, especially when you encounter Ganondorf for the first time.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's pretty scary. Although I do think, aside from that and the Earth Temple, if we're gonna talk about like kind of complex things like that in the games, I actually think Wind Waker is a really melancholy game in some ways. That kind of has a lot to say about some pretty, I guess, heavy topics. If we want to finish out, like if you
Yeah.
had anything to say about horror, though, we can finish that out before I go
No,
into
I mean
this.
my biggest knowledge regarding horror and Zelda comes from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I mean, Majora's Mask, I feel like, is the closest we're ever gonna get probably to a straight up horror game in the franchise. And that's why I love it so much. It's still like a very special game to me. It's like crazy that it exists and it is the way that it is. Such a strange little game.
Yeah. Also, on the subject of the like the Toon Link game, Spirit Tracks actually has some really scary portions. Some of the demon trains that can attack you are pretty frightening. Actually, one of the ways that you can like get a game over in Spirit Tracks is to have a demon train destroy your train, and your entire train will catch on fire, and you'll
Oh my god.
like
Oh my god.
you can, there's one outcome where you have a child passenger on your train, and then the child will just like start crying that he wants his mother as the train burns around him, and it's like
Oh my
actually
god.
kind of messed up. But also what's it called? There's this one level in Spirit Tracks, I think it's called like the Lost Forest or something like that, that has like absolutely horrific background music. Like it's really creepy. It suits because it's, it's a creepy forest where you get lost really easily. And it absolutely suits the location really well. And it, like, if someone played that music in my headphones while I was like walking alone at night, I would be like, I would be running to my door.
That's actually how I feel about the Forest Temple music in Ocarina of Time. I was legitimately afraid of the Forest Temple for a while when I was younger because of the music. I don't know what it is specifically about it, but that Forest Temple music is haunting to me.
Yeah, I guess the Forest Temple, the Forest Temple is kind of well, it's not the Forest Temple. It's not a temple, but it is a dungeon. It's a forest themed dungeon.
Kids love horror stories. That is so true. Like,
that is very true.
I think that was one of the big appeals to me about Legend of Zelda, so that they were kind of scary. I was scared, but I was like, I like this. I want to know more.
I think I liked horror more when I was
trembling
a kid than I do now as an adult.
in my bedroom at night thinking about it, but I like it.
Yeah. I definitely I liked the horror elements more in games and stuff when I was younger. And now I'm an adult and I'm kind of a coward. I'm like, oh
my gosh.
I saw Iron I had to hold someone's hand the whole time I was watching Iron Man.
I was the kid Googling, or not Googling, going on the YouTube search bar, being like, scariest things in video games, and being like, whoa. Oh yeah, top 10 scariest locations in Super Mario games. Please tell me the scary stuff in Mario. I must know.
I was a creepypasta reader when I was a kid. So, yeah, I get you. I remember reading like the Russian sleep experiments and all those different ones, and being like, whoa, this, like, I would have nightmares, but I would be like, this is so cool.
My favorite thing, does creepypasta count as heisei? Kind of. I would say it counts. And there are definitely like
New
Japanese
episode idea.
creepypastas that I got really into. Oh god. It's remembering dark
there
knowledge.
were some Pokemon ones.
Yeah,
So
oh
like
my god, the
Lavender
Pokemon
Town, I think.
creepypastas
Yeah.
were like my big thing when I was younger.
There we go, new episode.
Let's go. I may have a new topic. I would love to do an episode about creepypasta, actually. I will be messaging you about that later, simply. That would be fun.
Oh, Minecraft solo? Oh, that is a good point. I actually was too scared by Minecraft. When I was younger, I remember my first time playing my first ever Minecraft world. I started a survival world, and the first time night came around, I looked at an Enderman by accident and got really freaked out, and I spent the entire first night floating in the ocean with an Enderman just staring me down from the coast. And I was so afraid. I'm pretty sure I like cried and was like, Meemaw, my grandma bought me the game. I was like, Meemaw, this game you got me is too scary.
Oh my gosh.
But nobody, I don't know when Endermen were added, so I might have just outed myself as like crying over Minecraft at a much older age than I wish I had. So nobody look up when Endermen were added. But anyway, back to if you don't have anything that you were gonna say, I did have a thing I wanted to say about Wind Waker. For all that it is a very like stylistically, I guess you could call it like stylistic lighthearted in a way with the tune style and stuff. I do think Wind Waker is a very melancholy game, and I do think that is absolutely one of the things that I love about it. It has a lot to say, I think, about like letting go of the past and things like that. It's got possibly the most sympathetic version of Ganondorf in any of the games. Like he's got a couple of really solemn monologues where he just kind of talks about why he does what he does. And again, this game came out like 23 years ago, but I'm kind of dancing around spoilers because I don't want to ruin it, especially if you're gonna play it. I'm like, I don't want to spoil it. It's so good. But I think I will try to keep it spoiler free because there are parts that I'm like, if you do end up streaming it, I'm like, I gotta see Bab's reaction to this. But it's definitely it's got some really kind of, I don't know if heavy's the right word, but it's the word I'll use because I can't think of a better one. Some kind of heavy but really good messages about moving on from the past and like knowing when to let things go even if it hurts, I guess might be a good way to put it. And I really appreciate it for that. I think part of why people dismissed it because of the art style was that they assumed the cartoony style meant that the game would be like overly lighthearted and kiddie,
Yeah,
when
I can see
it
that.
definitely was not. It still had dark moments, it still had scary moments, and it had some very sad moments and some very poignant moments as well. So I think that's absolutely something that I love it for.
And I think I like it when like games that are more or less for children are still able to tackle those kind of darker subject matters, because I think even children can understand those kind of messages and maybe need those kinds of messages. So I like even if it is a kid's game, it still has good messaging and tells a story that would impact anyone who plays it, kids and adults.
Yeah, and I think kids are a lot more capable of understanding those messages than a lot of people give them credit for.
Really.
Like, so I mean, my parents are an example. They were like, we aren't gonna let you watch this and this or play this and this because you can't handle it. And it's like, I think I probably could actually. Like, in fact, I think I could have like learned some things from these games that or these shows or whatever else, whatever media. Like, I think there are plenty of cases where you can like learn some mature things that you kind of need to know, and you can get them from media. It can be a really positive experience. as a child. And like sometimes there might be cases where like you see a show or a game that depicts a character having like a difficult emotional experience, but portraying it as like this is normal and this is okay, and this is maybe how this character processes it in a healthy way. And you see that and you're like, oh, it's normal for me to deal with that, and I can deal with it in this way, and it's okay. I think that's super valuable. And I kind of, not to get on a soapbox, but I do kind of hate when children's media is like sanitized from anything difficult like that.
I hate that
because
too.
I think it's so important to have that kind of thing. And I think kids can absolutely handle it.
Absolutely.
And so that's something that I love Wind Waker for. I'll just back to my main point that I was kind of making, is that I think Wind Waker does that really well. I think it's definitely kind of, I think more, it hits harder when you play it as like an adult, especially as I have replayed it as I've gotten older. Not to be like, oh, I'm so me at my ripe old decrepit age of 25. It's not like I'm an elder or anything, but I do feel like as I have kind of gotten older and figured more of my life out, some of the themes of the game have hit me harder. But even when I first played it, when I was, again, I was 16. I was not a little kid, but I was still like, I was a dumb, confused 16-year-old kid. I didn't know anything about the world, really. I was a sheltered, confused child when I was 16, honestly, and I had a good experience playing the game. So, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of completely on a different topic now. I do think it's funny, considering that Wind Waker came out and people were upset that, the art style is so different. But, like, I don't know the exact timeline, but wasn't, what's it called? Twilight Princess, like, the next mainline game after it, which is completely drastically different, like, much more dark, edgy, realistic art style.
There's a really funny clip from, I think E3 of that year, where you can see the crowd, like you can hear the crowd's reaction to the Twilight Princess art style, and how, because at that point, it had only been a couple of years since Wind Waker. A lot of people were still really unhappy with the move away from realistic style, and like the crowd's reaction in that clip is actually really funny. There's one guy who like points at, I don't remember if it was Miyamoto himself who was there, but it was someone who was directly involved with the game. There's like a guy in the audience who like points at him and like shouts really loud, "You the man!"
Oh my gosh.
It's a pretty good clip. But yeah, so I think nowadays we've gotten to a point where people generally, they're gonna still be holdouts. I've seen some people who are cranky about Toon Link still, but I definitely think we've gotten to a point where each game's art style is appreciated on its own merits, because I don't think there's any game that has a bad art style. But definitely at the time that Twilight Princess came out, people were still generally kind of unhappy, and were like, "Oh, thank God, this is what." It's like the scene from SpongeBob. That's what we've been waiting for. That was, I think, how people reacted to that. I need to get a better chair if I'm gonna keep appearing on stream. This thing is so creaky.
Oh my gosh. Well, my chair is also so loud. I'm fairly positive that people can hear it during my streams. Like, if you ever hear a weird, loud squeak, probably my chair.
I don't know if I've ever noticed one, but I'm well known for being oblivious, so.
To be fair, I'm very nitpicky. When I go back and rewatch VODs, I'm like, oh god, I can hear my chair. Probably not even that noticeable, but I unfortunately notice everything.
That's so real.
The curse of being the streamer.
Yeah, I sent one of my friends some of my writing to like get her opinion on it. This story that I had written. And she was like, "This is so good." And then I read back through it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I misused a phrasal adjective in this. Like I used like a complex linguistic term, and was like, I misused this." And she was like, "I didn't notice. You're probably fine."
You are always your own worst critic.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I am. But anyhow.
Yeah, so I mentioned this to you before stream, because someone else brought it up in the Discord, but I thought it might be fun. I know both of us, have gaps in the Zelda games that we've played and have experiences with, but I thought it would still be fun just to do a tier list of Zelda games. So I'm gonna put it on screen. I'm also going to share it with you in Discord so you can see it better in real time.
Right.
Give me 1 second and I will share my screen with you. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, the only downside, I'm gonna adjust our models on screen so I'm not completely covering it.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, some of these, I definitely recognize the box art, but some of them I can't remember which game they are. So we'll figure this out together.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out together. Alright.
I see Link the Faces of Evil on here.
Oh my gosh, let's go. So first up we have, what I believe this is the very first Zelda game.
Yes.
I mean, as the first game, I feel like we should put it at least in B. Neither of us have actually honestly, fully played it, but it's a classic. The absolute classic.
I would put it in A tier. I had mentioned that it does have a few issues. Based on, again, I have not played it. I have seen some people play it, and I have read a lot of reviews of it. But I think it's not perfect. Like I said, there are issues. The combat is kind of clunky, and there's also the whole useless map thing that I talked about. But I think it is deservedly known as one of the best in the franchise. Yeah. So, from my limited direct experience, but
is Ocarina really the best electronic media that ever graced the human eye? Quite possibly. I really like that game.
I wouldn't know. It's one of the ones I haven't played. It's one of the ones I want to, but I have not yet.
I've never gotten very far in it, but I've watched people play most of it, and I really like it. Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. Right now we are at... This is the Adventure of Link. This is the second game.
Yeah, the one that is pretty weak. Again, one I haven't played, but... I mean, it is the one that Miyamoto himself called one of the weakest games he's ever worked on.
For Miyamoto, I'll put it in D. It's what he would have wanted, probably.
Friend of the show, Shigeru Miyamoto. For you, bud, we're putting it there. Okay.
Next, we have A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Again, I really know nothing about this game, honestly.
Other than my knowledge of its reception on release and how it is well known for being one of the... I know that other people think it is one of the best. I know details of how well it was received on release. I know a little bit about some of its mechanics and stuff, but I have no direct experience with this game. And unlike the first game, I have not even watched other people play it. So I don't know if I'm qualified to judge this game.
To be very fair then, since neither of us really have an experience with it, I'll put it in haven't played.
Haven't played, yeah.
I think this is the Game Boy. This is the same game, I think. I can't read, but I think this is the same game.
It's
the Game
very
Boy
low
version.
poly. Yeah, low quality.
Some of these are really hard to read, and I'm fairly certain this is a Game Boy remake, so I'll put it there.
Yeah, the first few were definitely... that one, I think, is also just some kind of special edition re-release of one of the first two.
Alright.
Or one of the first three, I mean.
Next up, Link's Awakening. Is Link's Awakening, which I really want to play, actually. Either the original or the remake. I really want to play it. Apparently Kirby is in it. Apparently there's an enemy that looks like Kirby, and I think that's really funny.
I almost got this actually when I went to my local GameStop. Shout out to my local GameStop.
Let's go.
there I I walked in and I like literally the first thing I heard when I walked in. I'd never been to this GameStop before. I've lived here 7 years and I've never been in there. First thing I overheard when I walked in was the two like workers at the register talking about transition goals, and I was like, oh my god,
let's go.
This is my people. But they had the Switch version of Link's Awakening, and I was like so tempted to buy it, but I was there for Tomodachi Life and I had a limited budget. So
very, very valid. Very, very good choice.
by the way, Bab, I was playing a little bit before stream, and you just became the third person to fall in love with Cross. So.
Oh my gosh. Let's go. The Cross harem.
That's where my island is. Seriously, yeah, that's where my island is at. Anyway, Link's Awakening. I really want to play this, but I also have not played it, so I don't think I can judge this one.
Fair. It's definitely pretty high on my list of Zelda games that I want to stream. I want to do this one at some point. Alright, this... What game is this?
S tier! No.
Wait, is this Faces of Evil?
That's Faces of Evil, yeah.
Heck yeah. This is another one that I kind of want to stream.
If you found a way to play this, I would be so happy. I would, if CDIs weren't ridiculously expensive, I would get you one so you could play.
Oh my god. Let's go.
I honestly, this is tough because I'm torn between actual quality of the game and like cultural impact, which I think is worth thinking of.
I think cultural impact can go above like the actual gameplay.
I think I could quote almost every cutscene from this game.
Oh my god, I love
they're
that.
They're so good. They're great. They made a huge impact on my childhood via,
I think it deserves
YTPs.
S rank. I think it deserves S rank.
That'll be our first S rank.
Let's go. And this is also a CDI game. What was the other one?
Gamelon.
Okay, yeah. Is this as
there's
iconic?
3 actually.
There's 3 of them. Oh my gosh. I think I only thought there were 2.
Zelda's Adventure is completely different from the first 2.
Oh, okay. I was actually wondering. I didn't know this was a CDI one. I was like, I've never seen this in my life.
No, yeah, Zelda's Adventure is the 3rd CDI game, and it does not have the funny little cutscenes. It has live action cutscenes that are
action cutscenes?
Pretty funny on their own.
How have I not heard of this?
Yeah, they're pretty great on their own, but they just didn't have the same impact as the silly 10 pixels animated cutscenes.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, the live action cutscenes are
this one also an S?
Wanda Gamelon, I would put it in S tier as well. I think it's just as good. I think it's got some cutscenes that are almost more iconic than the Faces of Evil cutscenes. It's you can't they're a pair. They're basically like the same game. You can't separate them.
Yeah, but then this one,
Zelda's Adventure, I'd put in like D. There's another one that I watched PBG play this one as well. And from my experience watching that, it doesn't seem as good. The live action cutscenes are really funny, but they never had the same cultural impact.
Yeah,
and
I'm surprised I never heard of it, honestly.
Also, from what I remember, the gameplay in the first 2 CDI games was like annoying in some ways, but mostly due to like annoying controls that once you got used to them, it wasn't that bad, versus that one, from memory, I could be wrong, I have not watched his playthrough of it in ages, but from what I remember, he complained that the gameplay was generally worse than the first 2. So
yeah,
that one didn't have the cultural impact that gives the other 2 the high rating, so we'll plunk that one in D tier.
And this, I'm fairly positive, is Ocarina of Time. I think. I can't read, but it looks like Ocarina of Time, so I'm gonna say that is.
I'm trying to read it too, and it's a real struggle, but I'm
looks
pretty
like
sure that says
Ocarina of Time. Yeah.
The last word looks like time to me. So.
Yeah. I mean, this is... The 64 era games are my personal favorite. They're the ones I have the most experience with growing up. So it's got a... I think... I can't decide if it's an S tier. competing against the CDI games, I don't know if it's S tier. But I really love it.
I should text Ray and be like, hey, so what would you think about me ranking the CDI games above Ocarina?
Oh my gosh.
But I have not played Ocarina. I really, really want to, but I have not,
it's really good.
That one is your purview, your prerogative to rank that one.
And Majora's Mask, which I also consider them kind of like a package deal. They're practically, I think they were made on like this using, I think Majora was made using like most of the same assets and stuff. Like they basically took Ocarina of Time and like, let's make a new game but using a lot of the same stuff. But somehow it made an incredible game. You would think it was lazy, but it's still like very much its own thing. It's very weird though. I don't know what they were thinking when they made it, but I'm glad they thought of it.
Yeah, very true.
And these are just 3DS versions. I don't have much of an opinion on the 3DS versions. As far as I'm concerned, they're the same thing. I'm sure they're actually different. Some people might argue that they're better or worse. I wouldn't know, but I like the games.
Yeah, I didn't. That's actually, I don't know why I never played those, because I had I still have it, but I had a 3DS. I have a 3DS. I should see if I can get my hands on those. They're probably really expensive used, but it could be worth it. I'd love to play more of these.
Alright, some of these, I do not know what this is. They look familiar. I cannot read the text.
I can't read these. Let me support us here with a little bit of internet. Let's see, Game Boy. These are both Game Boy Color, so let me just look. Game Boy Color Zelda games. Oh, are those the... Hang on, come on.
They're giving Pokemon vibes, being like a red and blue.
Give me box art here that I can compare to this. Oh yeah, those are the Oracle games. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons.
I don't know much about them. I've definitely read about them in a Nintendo Power, like 15 years ago, but I don't remember now what they were.
Know if that was picked up. Someone just honked their car outside my apartment, but or honked their horn. Anyway, yeah, I unfortunately have not played these. The Game Boy Color was a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
The Game Boy Color was discontinued shortly after my second birthday.
Yeah. And this is Four Swords. I can read that.
Now, I have not played the game, but I've read the Four Swords manga, which was really good. So, I'm willing to rank this one in A, based off of the manga adaptation alone.
My only knowledge of Four Swords comes from a cosplay group that I was a big fan of when I was in high school. Because they did, one of their cosplays they were the Four Links.
Alright, up next is Peak, baby!
Oh, I know. Oh, heck yeah, this is S, right?
S tier.
No question.
S tier.
Does it go above?
And then...
Does it go above?
Oh, of course it does. Because unlike those two, it's not pure cultural impact. It's actually a really good game. And I think the next one is just the HD re-release for the Wii U, which I would also put in S tier. Because it, I think, made the game better in a few ways. I think the baseline game is undoubtedly S tier, but I think they did make some improvements in the HD re-release. They added the Swift Sail, which is really nice. It made, like I said, I already didn't think that the sailing mechanic was as bad as some people made it out to be, but I do think the Swift Sail made it better. And then they changed up some of the mechanics for getting the Triforce shards, and I think the way they changed it made it a lot less frustrating. So HD re-release deserves to also be an S tier.
Alright. I can't read. What game is this?
That I think is hang on. Four Swords Adventures, probably. Maybe. It would make sense given where it is. Oh, yep, that's Four Swords Adventures. I double checked by looking at the box art. Another one I haven't played. I'm looking like more and more of a big fan because I've played so few of these, but.
Alright, this one I recognize. This is the Minish Cap, right?
The Minish Cap.
Yeah, this
yes.
is one where Link has a funny little like bird guy on his hat.
Yes, I think I played like 2 minutes of this once. I can remember playing. Like I can remember that I played. I remember nothing else, which makes me believe probably like Ray had it and I played it for like 2 minutes and then I had to go home. Shout out Ray. You should have just had Ray on here, honestly. I should have called him up and been like, "Hey, can you tell me more about these games?" But I like the Minish Cap. I like the funny little hat. And
I want to put it in B?
B works, yeah. I don't know enough. Like, I know that it's not overwhelmingly popular. It's not one I hear people talk about very much, which leads me to assume that it is not in the top tier. Probably. But I remember like thinking that it was kind of cute and fun and wishing I could play more of it.
Yeah, I like the hat friend. I don't know what happened to his hat that made it a funny guy, but I am a big fan.
Yeah, me too. All right, I think
right now
Twilight
we have
Princess.
Twilight Princess. I do think we had the Wii version of this as kids. I didn't play much of it, but I know Mist has played at least some of it. I don't think he's finished it. I would have to ask him.
Yeah,
but I have very limited knowledge. I know a little bit.
Yeah, I've only played a little bit of this. I think I played for like 10 minutes. But I remember liking it. It was very well received on release, and I think it was deserved. It does have issues. I remember again, here I'm going off of like reviews that I've read because I have not played the game all the way through. I have heard some people have issues with it, so maybe like B tier. I think it is still very well regarded for good reason.
I think it's probably the Wii version, so I'll put that as its buddy.
Yeah.
This looks familiar. What is this?
Is that? I don't know. Could be. Is that the first Hyrule Warriors? Maybe no. The first Hyrule Warriors was on the Wii U, so probably not. Ooh, is that? No, it's not that one. I'm mentally trying to think through what it could be. It's not. Okay, no, I was thinking of the Satellaview games, but those are from like 1995. We would have already passed those by now if they were included. Is that? Wait. Hang on. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. I don't know what this is. I thought it might be Link's crossbow training for a second, but
I think this is crossbow training right here.
The next one.
Yeah. So I don't know what this is.
Me looking at the picture next to the one that has him holding a crossbow. Is this one Link's crossbow training?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't figure out
what the heck game is this? I'm gonna put in haven't played because I feel like if one of us has played it, we would know what it is.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, Link's crossbow training. What is this game? Like I know it. I've heard of it. But why is he training to use a crossbow? Why is that the whole game?
I think it was I think it was more you train in the crossbow. I mean, they had like target shooting. They had you have to like I think it was Ranger where have to like defeat enemies with
an FPS game about Legend of Zelda?
Kind of. It's basically, I mean, it is kind of just what it sounds like. He gets a crossbow and wants to be good at using it. You shoot fruit to get extra points. I almost said it's like Fruit Ninja. It's not like Fruit Ninja, except that you destroy fruit.
Oh my gosh.
I definitely think that it's fun for what it is. It's really short though. Like you can play this whole thing in like an hour and a half maybe. and it's got some issues. Like not only is it really short, it's also like there's this the automatic fire power up that you can
Yeah.
get is not useful at all because you need to have consistent accuracy to get a good score. And if you turn on the automatic fire, you will not get like consistent consecutive shots, which is what you need to get that consistent accuracy score because it'll just start spraying crossbow bolts. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I don't know. I think it's fun for what it is. I would put it in B or C probably because it's really
it'll
short.
be our first C tier game.
It'll be our first C tier. There we go.
Also, welcome back, Simply. Yeah, we put Twilight Princess in B tier. Also, hello, Komodo Hawk. Welcome to stream. Welcome.
Hi, Komodo. Goodbye, bots. Get out of here.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad the stream element is bonking them faster than it used to.
Yeah, it's gotten tired of bonking me, and now it's just bonking the bots.
I used to have to bonk them manually. Now stream element is doing my job for me. Or it's doing its job, I should say.
Well, we love stream elements in this household.
Twilight Princess is a nostalgic game for me. Yeah, I feel like we would have put it higher had we had more experiences for it. With it, I mean. I played it a little bit, but it wasn't like my childhood game. I'm more nostalgic for the 64 era ones, personally. But I have an appreciation for Twilight Princess. It is a good game.
I would like to play Twilight Princess in full sometime. And my opinion would probably change once I have played the full game, but I have not yet.
Alright, something I learned from this tier list specifically is there Tingle games, and there's like a bunch of them on here.
There are indeed Tingle games.
I did not know he had his own games.
Unfortunately. Well, I don't know. Not everyone would say unfortunately. Probably pretty much everyone. But I don't know. I think Tingle's popularity really varies depending on like where you are. Like I've heard that Tingle is like extremely unpopular in America, but not in other countries. I don't know a lot about that specifically, but I do, from what I remember, the this one, Tingle's, I think Rosy Rupee Land, is supposed to actually be pretty good, but I have not played it. So I don't know.
Alright, here we have another Toon Link game.
Yes, Phantom Hourglass.
Oh, Phantom! I should have known the Hourglass was right here. Yeah, Phantom Hourglass.
Yes. Now there we go. This is we've gotten out of the games that I've only partially played, and we're back to the ones that I've like 100%ed. Phantom Hourglass. I think a lot of people would consider this one the weakest of the three kind of main Toon Link games: Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks.
Yeah.
And I would probably agree, but I also don't think it's as weak as a lot of people think it is. I think a lot of people, their biggest complaint tends to be with the there's this mechanic, and I admit it is really annoying, and I don't know why they designed it this way. But you basically, as you go through, you unlock new temple areas that you have to get through, except each new temple area is just like a new level of the same pre-existing temple. So every time you unlock a new area of it, you not only have to go all the way back to the main area where that temple is, you also have to redo each level of the temple to get down to the newly unlocked lower level. So like by the time you unlock the lowest level of the temple, you're now having to like redo, like by that point the first couple of layers of the temple you've done like 5 times.
Oh my gosh.
And you have to,
that sounds so tedious.
Yeah, like they get easier each time because you have better weapons and stuff, and like some of the parts you only have to do once, but it is still quite tedious. And honestly, for that and for like a couple other things, like some of the mechanics just aren't quite as good. Like the boat traveling it's a very boaty game like Wind Waker was, and I think the boat traveling isn't quite as good as it was in Wind Waker. So I would put this in like B tier because
Okay.
I a lot of people would probably put it C tier. I'd put it B tier because I like it better than a lot of people do.
All right, we have 2 more Tingle games, so I'm gonna preemptively put them both that haven't played. So I think this one is probably. This one looks like it might have not even been localized. It's like it might have only released in Japan.
I remember that there was one that wasn't, so yeah. Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks.
I would put in S tier.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone would agree with that. I personally oh my gosh. I personally think Spirit Tracks is a top tier game. I loved playing it. That was one that I borrowed from Ray, and he eventually had to demand it back because I wanted to keep playing it after I'd already like 100%ed it a couple of times. I really like that one. It definitely has a few points that are maybe like a little more frustrating than they need to be potentially, but I think the whole train travel system is really fun. I think it improves upon a lot of things that Phantom Hourglass, which again, those were the 2 DS games that have like a very similar style and stuff. I think it improved upon a lot of things that Phantom Hourglass kind of struggled with, and it brought back a stronger music component because Wind Waker, of course, has the titular Wind Waker, which you use to conduct music, and like I already talked about, Wind Waker's music is so good. But Phantom Hourglass did not have as much of a strong musical component to it. Like I don't think there's even an instrument that you like play in Phantom Hourglass. I could be misremembering because that's the one of the 3 that I have played the least, and it's been a while. But I don't think you actually have an instrument in Phantom Hourglass, and it's like that's like a core. It's not, not every game has one, but most of them do, and
we put Link to Faces Weeblin, the one of Gamelin, in S tier because of course we did. They're too iconic not to.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the point I was like getting to is that they do have a really good musical component in Spirit Tracks. It does require you to like blow into the DS microphone, which can be kind of dodgy. To like, you have to do that to play the flute.
That sounds difficult.
It can be a little bit dodgy, but you get the hang of it. And I personally still enjoyed it. It was a little clunky sometimes, but I enjoyed it. And I just enjoyed that it had that musical component again that I think you really feel the absence of in Phantom Hourglass, especially after Wind Waker.
Yeah. Alright, next up we have Skyward Sword, which is the other one I had as a kid. I didn't play a lot of because I was very bad at it, but I do remember really liking it. So I'm gonna put it in A tier for the nostalgia. I would like to maybe attempt it again one day. Maybe I can get farther than the first area. Who knows?
Yeah,
I like the birds. I really like the birds.
I have not played Skyward Sword, but I have heard good things, so I am.
You get to fly and like erase other characters on large birds.
Ooh.
And I think that's fun.
Okay.
Also, there's a really pretty song in it. I think Zelda sings a song in like the opening cutscene or something, and it's really pretty. But that's all I really know.
I think that's a Link Between Worlds.
I think so.
The title is incomprehensible.
Yeah. It's really hard to read.
Oh wait, yes, it's got the inverted Triforce. It's definitely Link Between Worlds. This is embarrassing how many of these I'm saying this about, but I have not played this one either.
I also haven't.
I remember Ray really likes this one though, so I'm willing to pull from Ray's opinion. Shout out Ray again, and put this one in A tier.
Okay.
because I think other than Wind Waker, this was Ray's favorite.
Mm.
And I do remember from just my reading about it that it is pretty popular.
Yeah.
So
I've heard a lot about it. I just don't personally know anything because I've never played it. But I know a lot of people like it, so I'm sure it's good.
yeah. All right. Triforce Heroes.
Yeah. Oh, this is the first Hyrule
Warriors. No,
Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors. Triforce Heroes is later. Is the next one. Hyrule Warriors. That's one of the spin-offs that I don't really know a lot about. Have you played this one?
I haven't. I know my brother's played some of them and has opinions. I don't know anything about the first one though.
Yeah, I
know there's one that he hates, but I think we'll get to that in a bit.
I don't know a lot about this one. This was on the Wii U, which I never had a Wii U. So that's gonna be a haven't played for me.
Yeah. Alright, but we have Triforce Heroes. It looks familiar, but I don't think I've played it.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a little bit of a sillier one, where it's like this. So there's a princess who isn't Zelda. It's Princess Styla, I think is her name, if I remember correctly. She's cursed to be unfashionable, and you have to like I think you have to like get her better clothes or something like that. Like it's this kingdom that is focused on fashion, and you have to like use the power of outfits to improve her fashion.
A Zelda
totally
dress-up game? Is it like a dress-up game?
I think so. It is also multiplayer. I forgot to mention that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds kind of amazing. I kind of want to play it now.
Yeah, I definitely. I think it is. It has defenders, but I think it's just. I think it was just weird. I think it wasn't very well received because it's just weird. But I don't know. I would put this one in like C tier maybe.
Okay.
Going purely off of my little bit, like I haven't played that one, but I have a decent amount of knowledge about it. I think that's one that was kind of a silly concept, maybe an imperfect execution, but I don't know. I find that it appeals to me a little bit.
Apparently Simply disagrees with you. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Simply. I'm just going off of what I remember reading about it. Maybe if I played it, I would throw it in D tier.
Okay, this one. Hyrule Legends? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, Hyrule Legends, I think is one of them.
Is it connected to Hyrule Warriors?
I think so.
This gray might
Hyrule
be
Warriors.
the word Warriors. Okay.
Yeah, it's Hyrule Warriors Legends.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was just a re-release, like an updated re-release of Hyrule Warriors. Now, Breath of the Wild, first Zelda game to win Game of the Year, and deservedly. S tier for sure.
Okay.
I
played
really
it
want to
once.
finish playing it.
I played it once. I was doing this whole bit where I was like, I'm gonna carry this boulder with me the whole time. This is my best friend, this boulder. The first cutscene happened and my boulder disappeared, and I was like, how dare, and I rage quit. Like, how dare you steal away my boulder, you Dane cutscene. That was my friend.
As I said, Legend of Zelda was the first, and I think currently still the only Zelda game to win Game of the Year, and I think it is highly deserved. I really want to play through that game in full someday.
I definitely want to as well. Actually play it properly, not like in a joking way.
Yeah, I played it for like several hours and had a good time with it, but I have not been able to go through the entire game. But from the experience I had, I think it absolutely deserves its place as both the first Zelda game to win Game of the Year, and also I think Breath of the Wild ranks somewhere around. Hang on, actually, I'm going to pull up the list to make sure that I don't get this wrong.
Yeah.
List of best-selling Nintendo video games. Breath of the Wild ranks 7th out of a couple dozen, with 34 million copies sold.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. Pretty good. If you're curious, the other top selling Nintendo games as of last December are Mario Kart Wii, Smash Ultimate, the original Super Mario Bros. From 1985, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and the number one, which I would not have expected, the number one best-selling Nintendo game is Wii Sports.
I can see that one. I think that one was bundled with the Wii back in the day, because that was one of our first Wii games when we got the Wii as kids. It came with Wii Sports, so that would actually make sense to me.
That might be the number might be a little inflated.
Yeah, that might be inflated.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a very normie friendly game. I feel like a lot of parents probably bought that and go, "Hey, this is a fun game for the whole family."
Yeah, we can play sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the game that you can sell it to your parents or whatever.
Yeah.
I think. Oh yeah, also Breath of the Wild is also the 24th best-selling game of all time, just period.
Oh, wow.
Every video game with its sales numbers recorded.
That's crazy.
It is 24th, which 24th might sound kind of low, but there are hundreds of thousands of video games in existence. Apparently interesting. Number one spot is torn between Tetris and Minecraft. Apparently different sources disagree on which one of the two is better selling.
That's kind of crazy. And the fact that Minecraft is tied with Tetris. Not what I would have expected, actually.
Minecraft coming out in 2009, Tetris coming out in 1988.
That's wild.
Made up that time gap real well. That makes me really upset. Ranked 3 spots higher than Breath of the Wild is Hogwarts Legacy.
Of course it is.
Boo.
Ew, disgusting.
Also, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the second most best-selling game of all time, apparently. Wow.
That's wild.
That is a huge jump. The third best-selling game of all time is Wii Sports again. So top.
The fact that GTA sold better than Wii Sports is kind of wild.
Well, not just better. Wii Sports sold about 83 million copies. Grand Theft Auto 5, according to this, sold 225 million copies.
My God.
That's a pretty major jump from number 3 to number 2. Anyway, sorry.
This is another Hyrule Warriors. I don't know which one.
Yeah, I just throw it and haven't played because I have not, and I assume you haven't either. Looks like our next viewer.
Cadence of Hyrule?
Cadence of Hyrule.
Not heard of this.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it, so...
Alright, this one is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I know this is Mist Runner's most hated video game of all time.
We can throw it in D tier.
Yeah.
In honor.
I've listened to him rant about this game. It's very funny to me.
We're throwing it in there. And then, I want to play Tears of the Kingdom so bad. That was another one I looked at when I was at GameStop, and then They had that one, and literally, like, right next to Tomodachi Life was Tears of the Kingdom and
Oh
Echoes of
man.
Wisdom. And I was like, you're tempting me. I
Uh,
had to, like, I literally pulled out my phone and checked my bank account balance to remind myself that I
oh,
couldn't get all three.
so relatable.
But yeah, I think Tears of the Kingdom is deservedly. I would throw it in like A tier. I don't want to
Yeah.
clog up our S
Mm.
tier. So I would say, I mean, if we're talking Game of the Year, that Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year. Tears of the
Mm.
Kingdom was going off of memory. Let me double check. Tears of the Kingdom, I think, was nominated but didn't win. Yeah, was nominated but did not win. Baldur's Gate 3 won that year.
Mm.
So, wait, what? Huh. Anyway, oh, right. I forgot. I saw that it was listed for 2023. One of the Game of the Year nominees was Resident Evil 4, and I was like,
Oh,
Resident Evil
yeah.
4? Didn't that come out a lot earlier than that? Oh, right.
The remake.
It was a remake,
Yeah.
Okay. And then Echoes of Wisdom, that one is recent enough that I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah,
So,
I know Vess streamed it a little bit, but they stopped playing for some reason. I don't remember why they stopped. So I can't really say anything because I've never played it.
yeah, it's I don't remember exactly when it came out, but I know it is very recent. It's recent enough that I have not really heard a lot about it. I do think it's cute that you can play as Zelda
Yeah.
for like, oh my gosh, finally, after years after the Wand of Gamelon, now finally we're getting a proper Wand of Gamelon in the actual
Let's
Nintendo
go.
canon.
Let's freaking go. Finally, you can say that you play as Zelda in the Zelda game.
Technically, some of the games have like bits and pieces where you play as Zelda, but
oh god, not an AI ad. I got one of those too when I was watching a Vest stream. Like, what the heck?
boo.
Ew, disgusting. But yeah. So this is our final tier list unless you want to rearrange if you've changed your mind about something. But otherwise, this is our ranking.
I think I'm good with these rankings.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
like, I'd probably put Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask higher if I played them all the way through. But because I haven't, I feel like I can't personally put them in S tier.
Yeah, that was for me as well. I tried to only put the ones in S tier that I have personally played enough for me to feel like I have a strong personal opinion about them.
But yeah, yippee. That is our ranking. So yeah, let me go ahead. I'm gonna close out the window capture screen share. Where's the Shadow Mantle one? Are you referring to Deltarune? Do you mean Deltarune?
I don't have chat pulled up. Somebody hit the weird root jingle for me.
Oh my gosh. Let's freaking go. The rest for the tier list, to be fair. Oh, thank you. Thank you simply for the weird root jingle.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. I got my audio louder. That actually made me jump. I was expecting it and it still made me jump. What the heck?
Also, there you go. Simply, you don't have to worry about ads anymore.
Oh my gosh, let's go. Thank you for the gifted.
Yeah. First, this is an Ash first. I'm gifting a sub while I'm live on stream.
Let's freaking go.
If you want, I also this is a completely random. This is just a piece of trivia that I learned as I was reading that I thought was interesting. Oh, didn't I do that? Oh, I probably did. I am the gifter, so I've been on Libra's stream a couple times. I probably also gifted while I was there, so that is true, simply. But the first time I've done it in a Bab stream. There we go.
Let's go.
Anyway, just something random thing that I thought was interesting of kind of like almost a little loop of inspiration was that the developers of the first Legend of Zelda game back in 1987 thought that 46. Oh, I'm given 46.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know it was that many.
Let's go.
Anyhow, the developers of the first Legend of Zelda, the 1987 one, they said that they drew a lot of inspiration for the fantasy elements of the world from The Lord of the Rings. And then in 2003, there was a Hobbit video game, a video game adaptation of the Hobbit book.
Yeah.
That the developers of that, now that game was not very good, it's not really remembered, but nonetheless, the developers of that game said they took a lot of inspiration from the Legend of Zelda games, and I just thought that was kind of
very
a fun
full
little
circle
piece of trivia. Yeah, a nice little circle, and I think it kind of demonstrates the whole little like cultural exchange aspect of the era that we kind of touched on. Is that like, oh yeah, this, I guess Lord of the Rings is not. Was J.R.R. Tolkien British? I should know this. I have 2 degrees in English and I don't know. I gotta quickly looking this up. He was he was from England. So, but anyway, we had an English book that inspired a Japanese video game that then inspired an American video game that was an adaptation of the English book. And I'm like, hey,
I love that.
Cultural exchange in action. That's pretty cool. So, I don't know, that was just a little bit of trivia that I thought was cool.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. I do think it's interesting, and one of my first thoughts when I asked you earlier, the question of why do you think Zelda did so well overseas, and I do think part of it is that it was a very, like, I would say accessible kind of story, in that it's very, more Western fantasy inspired, rather than, like, a Japanese inspired fantasy setting.
Yeah,
like,
that is
definitely
true.
Nowadays, Japanese-inspired worlds are more popular, but back in the 80s, I don't think it would have translated as well to, like, American gamers. So having a game set in, like, a more, I guess, familiar kind of setting really helped with its overseas promotions.
I hadn't considered that, but that is a good point. Sorry, you mentioning that just made me think of the Link praying picture again.
Oh yeah.
I have that picture saved if you want me to show it.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see it.
Screen, but
I would love to see it. Oh my gosh, I have never seen this before. That is hilarious. No, I'm showing this on stream. If anyone else wants to see what we're looking at right now. I have never seen this image before. That is kind of hilarious. Give me one second.
I mean, that was kind of like I kind of mentioned it, but I kind of got off of it pretty quickly. But
guys, this is canon.
It reminds me of that. There's like a Mario picture book that shows Mario like performing different world religions. That book's pretty funny too.
I think I've seen that one actually.
Yeah.
It is wild.
But yeah, like in the first couple of games, Link has like a cross on his shield. And from what I recall, in the second game, I'm going off memory here, I might be wrong, but in the second game, there is the Book of Magic that in the original Japanese, instead of being called Book of Magic, was just called like the Bible.
Oh man.
And so there's things like that. Now that could have, like, the cross on the shield and stuff like that could have just been like, aesthetic. Like it evokes
Yeah.
medieval knights and stuff like
Yeah, I
that.
think that's pretty common on a lot of medieval knight seals. It's like a cross design.
Yeah. It evokes knights and the medieval era. I do think that it was probably a choice that they made to move away from that and develop the lore of the three goddesses and all of that as the game became more popular. But I don't know, it's just interesting, and yeah, I just find that picture really funny, just for
Oh my
how
gosh,
bizarre it is.
it
Because
is
it's not
so
just a cross; you
strange.
got the whole crucifix
Oh my
there.
god, yeah. I wasn't sure what to expect before you showed me the picture, but that was definitely not it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, trying to think of anything else I could talk about. I'm tempted to talk more
Yeah.
about the Wind Waker randomizer. That's not official,
Honestly, go
but
for it. I'm
it is
very
really
interested.
fun. I have so many like screenshots from when I was playing that, because like it is programmed so that you can't get soft locked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like you'll never have like the key to a dungeon is found inside of that dungeon, so you can never get in or anything like that. Um, but oh, sorry, I just kicked my trash can. I don't know if that got picked up. So they make sure not to have anything like that happen, but you otherwise items are truly just completely scrambled. And so like I had Beetle, who's like the shop guy in that game,
Mm-hmm.
try to sell me a red rupee, which the rupee prices are not consistent across games. I'm trying to go off of memory here. I'm pretty sure the red rupee is 20 in Wind Waker. Um, he tried to sell me a red rupee for 900 rupees. um, and that was pretty funny. I have a screenshot of that.
Oh my gosh.
And you can also buy rupees at auctions, and you don't actually get the value of the rupee. You just buy it and lose money.
Oh my god.
It's pretty funny. Like I bought an orange rupee at auction because I thought I would be getting 100 rupees from it because that's how much an orange rupee is worth.
Yeah.
But no, you don't actually get the rupees. You just pay money, and it's like, congratulations, this rupee is yours. But then, because it's not like a proper item that goes in your inventory, you just don't get it.
Oh my god.
Also, the dungeon entrances are randomized, so like you'll you'll go into like the first little dungeon on Dragon Roost Island. I'm so glad I said it correctly. I say Dragoon Roost Island a lot because that's what PBG said in his Wind Waker videos. And it burrowed into my brain. But I entered the first dungeon on Dragon Roost Island and found myself in the Wind Temple, which you don't enter until way, way later in the game. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I think from what I remember, there are like different levels of randomizing that you can do, so that sometimes it'll be like, okay, these items that are normally found here will only be found here. They'll be scrambled within those locations, but they'll only be found there. I liked to play it with full randomization on, so I'd like open up a chest that usually contains a key and it's got like a random treasure map or something in it. I got like the most important thing in the game. I'm not going to say what it is because I want you to play it and enjoy it. But I got like the most important thing in the game from a random treasure chest on a little like a little island random encounter essentially. And I was like, oh, well, there we go. Anyway, I don't know. The randomizer's really fun.
Yeah.
The chaos mod can be really frustrating, but it's also really fun. I have a video that's just me and my boyfriend just giggling up a storm as like Link keeps turning into a giant and then flipping over and like is unable to get out of this flower that keeps bouncing him into the air.
Oh my gosh.
But anyhow, Wind Waker, very fun. I need to get. I'm not gonna. I would never use an emulator. Nintendo, please don't
Never.
attack Bab. Please, Nintendo, don't sue Bab for putting this on here. But I should find some fully legal, normal means of playing Wind Waker again because, oh man, now I just want to play it.
I'm sure Nintendo's a little angry with me. I have a whole YouTube video about my modded 3DS.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's surprisingly easy to mod a 3DS.
I was never
as
able
they
to
say.
Like that. I'm so, for all that I'm allegedly, you know, we're the digital native generation. I don't know. Like someone had to explain to me how to use a VPN and things like that. I don't know how to mod things. I never knew how jailbreaking an iPhone worked.
I'm scared to mod my 3DS because I'm scared it'll break. Honestly, this is just if I can do it, I swear to God, anyone can.
Maybe
if I could
mod
it, I think anyone can. I've not been brave enough to try downloading any emulators on my PC because my PC is my baby and I don't want anything to happen to it, but I modded my 3DS.
There's only room for one bit of malware on that PC.
Yes.
It's already occupied.
Yes.
Can't have competition.
Exactly.
I do think I have forgotten who said it. I think it was Felix mentioned Dolphin. I think Dolphin is what I used before when I had one. So potentially recommending that. But anyhow, I hope that you are able to play Wind Waker on stream because it is my favorite game of all time.
I really want to.
It has kind of gotten a little bit of competition from Uma Musume recently in terms of being my favorite game.
Very fair.
I mean, if we go by, it depends on if you evaluate favorite game purely by amount of time spent playing it, then Uma Musume and Wind Waker might be tied. I mean, I had like 46 hours of Uma Musume gameplay in the first 4 days after I downloaded it.
Oh my god. Let's go.
But the Wind Waker, it does remain my favorite game in my opinion, and I'm sure if I am able to get a way of playing it again, I will fall in love with it all over again. So highly recommend.
The link image should be in every stream. Is this gonna be the new Quack Snack canonical?
The Quack Snack canonical. I can't believe I forgot about Quack Snack _ canonical.
Praying to God in the corner of all my streams now, apparently.
I love it.
No, we'll do like a randomizer wheel. Like, will it be Quack Snack or will it be Praying Link? You decide, chat.
We gotta get some other stuff in here too.
The wheel of random images.
Yeah, we gotta have the wheel of stuff.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. Do you have anything else that you wanted to bring up before we start wrapping up tonight's stream?
I don't think so. I've gone through all of the notes that I had. And you know, I'm sure like an hour from now I'll be sitting there eating my curry and I'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't talk about that. But currently
that always happens.
I cannot think of anything else Zelda related that I would like to say. So.
What an insane image, man. I'm in shambles. Here, I'll make it bigger for you. Bask. Bask in it for a moment.
I'm so happy I found this as I was like doing some research for this.
It's so funny.
I like who's the little person on the plinth next to it? Is that like the Virgin Mary? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we can make it bigger again. It might be.
I guess it could be Zelda, but
I
really like
Zelda.
the Virgin Mary.
It would be. I think it would be funny if it was Mary. Oh my gosh. This is just, Link in a Catholic church. As he does in-game, it's canon. He does that.
I'm just imagining, like, a sanitized version of Wind Waker that my family would have allowed me to play, where, like, the Temple of the Goddesses is a Catholic church. Well, it would have been a Methodist church, but...
Oh my gosh.
the idea of the Temple of the Goddesses being a Methodist church is so funny, because that would mean that it looks like a warehouse and people are required to be there on New Year's Eve and be bored when they want to be partying and drinking.
Oh
anyway.
My gosh.
Sorry. I don't know what else to say. Thank you for having me.
It was great having you. This was so much fun.
It is a huge honor. It's very exciting that I got to be here. And if I could say a closing thought to chat, I would tell them, remember to go to webabvirusshop.fourthwall.com and use #CuteWearIRL.
Let's go.
I'm doing the propaganda for you.
Thank you.
I told Bab
drop
before
the link
we
in
went
chat
live.
too.
Yes, do that. I was telling Bab before we went live, I am wearing my CuteWear shirt right now. It is comfy, and I genuinely recommend it. Like, I actually really love this shirt. So, everyone in chat, go buy right now. If you're able to financially, you should get some.
Let's go.
I genuinely wear this shirt all the time. It is really comfy. The design is so cute. I've taught in this shirt before.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I wore it into my classroom, and one of my students asked about it. And at that point, I was like, I don't care what these kids think of me. So I told them straight up, I was like, oh, this is my Kamiyoshi.
Oh my
and they
gosh.
just kind of looked at me, because I teach in the middle of North Carolina. So most of them don't really know any of that kind of thing, and they were just kind of like, okay, sure. But they, it's fine. I sent out, I don't know if you know about this, Bab. No, I think I mentioned it in chat, actually, that I sent out an announcement to all my students, and I said, hi, every pony in it.
I do remember that. Oh my god. I love that.
I meant to change it. I wrote hi, every pony to be funny, and I meant to change it, and then I hit send, and I was like, oh god. One of my students told me that they thought it was so funny they called their mom to tell her about it.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, honestly, that's pretty cool. So anyhow, everyone get your CuteWear, get your #CuteWearIRL, and if you're, well, no, I'll let you. I was about to like launch into your usual outro speech, because I just know it by now, and then I was like, I should actually just let her do that. But thank you for having me. Everyone should play Wind Waker.
Thank you for joining.
That's my closing argument. Everyone should play Wind Waker.
I will definitely, hopefully, try to put it to my schedule soon. I think, is it on? I'll have to check Nintendo Switch Online later. I think it's on the GameCube NSO.
I think so. I know for sure that you can play it on the Switch 2, because I played it on Ray's Switch 2.
Yeah.
Ray,
I'm pretty sure we have it on our Switch 2. I visited
Ray a little while ago, and he was like, hey, so guess what, you can play on the Switch 2. And I was like, you bought the Switch 2 just because they released Wind Waker on it, didn't you? And he was like, well, no, I also bought it for Echoes of Wisdom.
Very valid. Valid way to spend your money.
I hope you were able to play it. So.
Yeah, thank you again for joining me tonight. It was great having you on the podcast.
It was great being here. Thank you. Bye-bye, chat. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. So that is going to be that for tonight's stream, let me just center myself real quick. That's not centered. You know, whatever. Whatever. I will just move this guy. I'll make it bigger. Aha. Our funny image. Our funny image is back and bigger than ever. Anywho, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and us today. This was so much fun. My next stream will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. I will be joined again by Mist Runner. We are going to be finishing Deltarune. Oh my god, my brain is everywhere right now. Danganronpa, the video games that have the letter D at the beginning. My beloved. We're gonna be finishing Danganronpa, Deltanronpa, yes. We're gonna be finishing Deltanronpa tomorrow. So definitely don't want to miss out. It's the grand finale. I want to watch Deltanronpa. Let's go. Oh my gosh, who would survive? What Deltarune characters do you think would survive to the end of Danganronpa? Much to think about. Definitely not Birdly. Birdly would definitely be one of the victims. This is not the tension I thought I was going to be going on just now. Anyway, if you're watching me on YouTube right now, make sure you are subscribed. If you're watching me on Twitch, make sure you're following. And you can also subscribe if you want to, only if you want to. Birdly would be a victim, but would have lasted way longer than he should, like Hifumi. That is so true. He would definitely be like the Hifumi of the game. Oh my gosh, I love that. But yeah, you can also, literally as we speak, my Arcanite Enfield sponsorship campaign is almost over. It is ending like in a couple hours. Let me double check. When does it end? It ends literally, okay, it ends in 14 hours. You have 14 hours left to download Arcanite Enfield using my link. So if you were considering this is your last chance, you have 14 hours left to download Arcanite Enfield using my link. It is a very fun game. I am very pleasantly surprised by it. I was having a lot of fun streaming it. I will probably continue streaming it in the future. So if you are hopeful for more Arcanite Enfield content, I will probably be continuing it. So stay tuned for that. Because it is a really fun game, actually. I like it. So yeah, last chance to download it using my link. Other things, of course. Ashbury shouted out the merch shop, Weeba Virus shop of fourthwall.com. You can get t-shirts, mugs, beanies, lots of good stuff. Of course, all the money will help support the channel, so it's always very appreciated. But yeah, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and see who is live that we can raid. Pretty sure Vess is live right now. Yes. They are playing Ultra Kill, so let's all go hop over, say hello to Vess. Everyone hop into the raid, it will get you channel points. Everyone hop into the raid. And anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day or night wherever you are. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!